Hello students, how are you? I hope you all are good bachcho. So today we are going to start our new topic which is based on essay writing. So how can you write the essay? So some essays are written here. So you can take the example from this. So first one is based on Swami Vivekananda. Let's begin bachcho. Swami Vivekananda, a great saint, philosopher and social reformer, was one of the markers of modern India. He was born on 12 January 1863 in Kolkata. His father's name was Vishwanath Datta and mother's name was Bhuvneshwari Devi. Swami Vivekananda was a pious man. He was a man of great courage and conqueror of hearts. He devoted his whole life to eradicate the sufferings of humanity. His saintly parents had a lot of faith in him. His childhood name was Narendranath Datta. At first, he had no faith in God. Then young Narendranath Datta came in close contact with Sri Ramakrishna, then great saint, and completely changed his life and changed him with a divine power. Sri Ramakrishna inspired him to serve the suffering humanity and accepted him as his disciple. Narendranath Datta was reincarnated the Swaminath Vivekananda after the death of Ramakrishna. Afterwards, Vivekananda travelled all over India on foot along with the masses of Sri Ramakrishna. He went to Chicago in 1893 and delivered a historic speech of Parliament of Religions and captured the minds of peoples of the world. He found the Ramakrishna mission of the service and welfare of the distressed and downtrodden people. He breathed his last on 4th July 1902. He will remain alive in the hearts of the Indian people for his love for the motherland. We all should follow his ideas and ideals. So students, next है हमारा science in daily life. The modern age in the age of science. We all enjoy the fruits of science in almost all walks of life. A modern man minus science is as good as early man. Modern man uses the gifts of science in every walk of life and every work he undertakes at any type of days and night. Science provides him with things of daily use. He cannot go without electricity. The dying daughter of science. He moves from one place to another with the help of vehicles. He reads books, newspaper, etc. All of these are making of science. Television and radio entertain him. Computer lessons is manual work. Internet and fax transmit communication in the swiftest time possible. Air conditioners and refrigerator are ready to act for him in hot summer. While medical science with his wonderful inventions tries to lessen his pain in time of ailment. Scientific study helps him to judge everything in the light of reason. False beliefs no longer rules his life. He becomes free from domes. In fact, science has made man's daily life easygoing and convenient. Science also makes the intellectually sound and strong. All this explains why modern man is so dependent on science. Next है बच्चे, the soldier. Those who seek adventures in life opt for defense services. A soldier in defense services guards the territory of the motherland and provides an opportunity to the countrymen for peace, security and progress. We live safely and in peace because our brave soldiers guard our frontiers. A soldier is posted in deserts where it is difficult to get water, forests where wild animals pose danger to him, high mountains where snow is found round the ears, deep oceans where there is nothing but blue water and air. There are three kinds of defense services in India: Army, Navy and Air Force. The men in Army are called soldiers, those in Navy are called seamen and those in Air Force are called airmen. Young men and women join the defense services at a young age of 16 to 25 years. They undergo religious training, both physicals and professionals. Then they join the units for their professional work. Their rigorous life continues even after training. They have to keep training hard so that they can save the motherland from all enemy attacks. A soldier has to be very disciplined to survive all challenges of life. A soldier wears a smart uniform. His turnout is of high order. He is soft-spoken and polite. He comes to help of his countrymen in times of need. He is brave and courageous and is ready to risk his life to the greatest pulse. Now, when you see a soldier in the street, pay him respect because it is due to him that we live in peace. Next है बच्चे, the moon. The moon is a heavenly body shining in the sky at night. It looks like a large round silver plate. The moon is a natural satellite of the earth. It moves round the earth is 28 days. The moon has no light of its own. It is lit up by the light of the sun. There are no living beings on the surface of the moon. There is no air, no water, no soil on its surface. It has only sand and rocks. The shape of size of the moon appears to change every day. The path towards us and illuminated by the sunlight becomes visible to us. The area of sunlight keeps changing due to its motion. We can see only one side of the moon because the rate of its revolution is equal to the rate of its rotation. Moonlight is very soft and nice. We can enjoy the beauty of moonlight at night. The lunar eclipse takes place when the earth comes between the sun and the moon. The gravitational force of the moon is 1/6 that of the earth. The moon is very popular among the infants. Only a few decades ago, the moon was very mysterious object, but man has already learnt a lot about the moon. The American astronaut Neil Armstrong was the first man to set foot on the surface of the moon on 13 July 1967. Since then, many astronauts have landed on the moon and learnt a lot about it. India too has sent the Chandrayaan-1, Chandrayaan-2 to the moon to reveal its mysteries. He had plans to launch the Chandrayaan-3, which will land on the moon. So the moon is no longer a mystery. Next है बच्चे, scene at post office. One day, I read in a magazine about an essay competition on the subject, the scene of a post office. I wrote an essay on the subject and put it in an envelope. Then I cycled to the nearest post office for dispatching it. I got down the bicycle right in front of the post office. There were several cycles and scooters parked there. I too parked my bicycles there and locked it. Then I entered the post office from near the red letter box. Our post office was situated in a big hall. There were wooden counters made on one side. In one corner lay a table and some benches where people could wait, write letters and addresses and stick stamps on the letters. There were many counters. On them was written the kind of services they provided, such as stamps, money orders, registered letters and parcels. There are many big tables of the postmaster behind the counters. On the wall was fixed a large pigeonholes cupboards with PIN, postal index number, codes marked on it for sorting letters. Two clerks were sorting the letters there. As I needed to buy stamps, I stood in the queue before the stamps counter. My turn came in about 5 minutes. I paid the money and took stamps. The clerk said with a smile on his face, "Never forget to write PIN code on a letter. It will reach early." I thanked the clerk, stuck the stamp on my letter and put it in the big letter box. Then I cycled back home with sweet memories of the post office in my heart. Next is school library. A school library is an essential part of a school. A library is a room or building where books, newspaper and periodicals kept for reading. It is an essential part of learning because nobody can purchase all books required to earn knowledge. The chief aim of a school library is to provide material for reading, whether for pleasure or information. It is also a place where we can learn how to use reference book. This is essential if we want to discover new facts and do research in any subject. We also learn to respect and take care of books. A school library teaches us all this. We would also know how and where to locate the right books. It is generally found the school children do not appreciate the facility provided by a school library. They do not realize its importance in their lives. It can help them complete human beings both as individuals as a member of the society. In a library, the books can broaden our minds by reading the world's greatest literature. We can gain access to accumulated experience, imagination and wisdom of past and present. A school library is very important. It is necessary for the mental and intellectual growth of our students. A library increases his thirst of knowledge and curiosity. Poor students can borrow their textbooks from it. Thus, a school library has become indispensable for the students of all schools. Next है बच्चे होली. Holi is one of the most important festival of the Hindus. It is celebrated on the last day of the Hindi month of Phagun, means March. Several reasons are attributed for its celebration. It is believed that King Hiranyakashipu tortured Prahlad, his son, for his vainglory and offered him to flames in the lap of his sister wearing a incombustible shawl. However, winds blew and the shawl wrapped around Prahlad, so he was saved. This festival is celebrated in the memory of this occasion. Holi is celebrated in 2 days. On the first day, called Holika Dahan, a bonfire is raised. On the next day, called Dulhandi, people play with colors. People sprinkles gulals and other colors on one another. Children throw and blow. On next day, called Dulhandi, people play with colors. People sprinkles gulals and other colors on one another. Children throw balloons and use water guns. The whole atmosphere turns very colorful. People visit one another's house. They greet and embrace one another. Some people gamble, drink wine and quarrel on this day. They are evil people. We should keep away from them. Holi is a blissful festival. It should be celebrated to forget all past enemies and strengthen friendship. Next है बच्चे, the snake. A snake is a crawling creature. It is reptile. We are very familiar with snakes. People are very afraid of snakes because many of them are poisonous. However, all of them are not poisonous. They live both on land and water. Snakes crawl along the grounds on their bellies and beaks. They are rough scales on the lower portions of their body. A snake looks like a rope or is of different sizes and colors. The boa and pythons are very big snakes. Snakes live in holes in the ground or trees, holes and in bushes. They feed on fishes, frogs, insects, rats and young birds. Poisonous snakes like the cobra are really very harmful to men. The bite of these snakes means certain death. Thousands of people die from snake bites every year in our country. When they bite, they inject poisons through two hollow long teeth that rest of the bags of poison in the mouth. Some poisonous snakes have hoods and they can make a hissing sound. Generally, a snake is a shy animal, but it can bite if it feels threatened. Snakes and sinks are very useful. They are used to make things like shoes, bags and belts. Many medicines are also made from the poisons of the snakes. Next है students, wheat. Wheat क्या होता है? गेहूं. Okay, wheat is one of the most important food grains in the world, but in India, it is next to rice in importance. The people in Hindi-speaking states of India use wheat as their staple food. Wheat is grown in the almost all countries of the world. The USA, Canada, Argentina and India are major wheat producing countries. In our country, wheat is grown in bulk quantities in Punjab, Uttar Pradesh, Gujarat and in small quantities in West Bengal and Bihar. Sometimes India has to import wheat from foreign countries in order to meet the needs of its growing population. Wheat is a rabi and spring crops. It is sown in mid-October and mid-November and harvested in March-April. Wheat grows better in those areas where rainfall occurs in winter. Moderate rainfall is necessary for the cultivation of wheat. Some amount of irrigation is very conducive to a food and good crop of wheat, but hail and frost are very harmful for wheat cultivation. When wheat is harvested, it is threshed and winnowed to separate seeds from husk or chaff. Then the seeds are grown into flour. in grinding machines. And from flour, we prepare different food like items, bread, bun and cake. Next, students, our national flag. Every free country has its own national flag. It is a symbol of a free country. It is a symbol of national unity and common sentiment. It is a sacred thing to a nation. Like the national anthem, it is very soul of a nation. It reminds us of our duty to the country. Any dishonor to the national flag is dishonor to the country. Our national flag is the tricolor or Tiranga. It has 3 horizontal strips, saffron at the top, white in the middle and deep green at the bottom. Saffron is a symbol of sacrifice and selflessness. White symbolizes truth and purity. Deep green stands for youth and energy. The Ashoka Chakra in the middle stands for peace and progress. The designs of tricolors in Free India was adopted by the Constituent Assembly in 1947. It is hoisted on important occasions. When it is hoisted, the people stand up in its honor and pay their homage to it. On the other days, it is kept hoisted only on government buildings. On the days of national festivals such as Independence Day, Republic Day, etc., it can be hoisted on private buildings also. When it is hoisted, we promise ourselves to follow the noble ideas expressed by the tricolor. When a great national hero or very important person dies, it is flown at half-mast of mourn his death. Every Indian embassy in foreign countries flies tricolors on its building. In a procession, the tricolor must be carried in the front, held in the right hand. It is the duty of every Indian to protect the honor of the national flag at all cost. They should not hesitate or sacrifice their lives even. Next, rainy season. The rainy season comes after hot and sultry summer. The months of June, July, August, even September are generally known as the months of rainy seasons in our country. The sky is overcast with dark clouds. The weather during the seasons remains very hot and humid. It rains almost regularly, sometimes with roaring thunders and dazzling lightning, and tanks, ponds and canals get filled up with rainwater. Sometimes the rain is so heavy as to cause floods, damaging crops and buildings. In some part of the country, people have no use boats for going from one place to another. Streets become flooded with water. Cars and trains stop plying. Buses move along the waterlogged streets. Naturally, it generally hampers our daily work. Different diseases like dysentery and diphtheria break out during the seasons. Village roads get slippery and there is often waterlogging in big towns and cities. Here and there, people walk slowly through the standing deep waters with their clothes drawn up with high above the knee. Despite so many difficulties and disadvantages, the rainy season is favorite with the Indian farmers. It is the time when wheat, jute and paddy, the principal crops in the country, are grown. The flood washes away from the germs of many diseases. After rainy season is over, the nature looks fresh and green. Next है बच्चे pollution. An abnormal change in chemicals, physicals and biological characteristics of the environment is called pollution. At present, our civilization is getting populated every moment. This is causing the extensive damage to all sorts of life on the earth. Today, the world is facing a serious noise pollution. Environmental pollution is a direct consequence of the industrial progress. It is more pronounced a large industrial belt. In these areas, the air is getting polluted by the exhaust of automobiles, furnaces, industrial stores, etc. Noise pollution is mainly caused by the howling horns of automobiles, reckless use of loudspeakers and bursting of crackers. Overpopulation and industrialization accelerate the rate of sound population. With the development of industries, large amount of municipal and industrial waste are disposed of into the rivers, lakes, bays and other water bodies, and contaminating them with highly toxic chemicals result into the death of marine life. Polluted water is also dangerous to agriculture products. Even the sea is not free from pollution today. Most of the diseases and stresses are caused due to environmental pollution. Seminars are being held regularly all over the world to apprise the peoples of the impending dangers to mankind. We must follow the guidelines to create a better environment and save life on this beautiful planet. Next है बच्चे patriotism. Patriotism is love for one's own country. It promotes a human being to act selflessly for the cause of his country. A patriot feels for his fellow men and fights for the honor of his country. Personal happiness does not matter to him. He smiles when his country smiles. He sheds tears when the people of his land suffer. He is always ready to sacrifice his life for the good of his nation. Indian history offers us countless examples of noble and heroic deeds of her brave souls. But it is a pity that their dreams are yet to be fulfilled. We should understand that other prosperity is our own prosperity. A true patriot works for the welfare of his countrymen. He criticizes the politician if they are detrimental to the interest of the country or its people. A patriot should not be selfish and self-centered. Poverty and illiteracy, casteism and communalism are eating into our vitals. We must try to eradicate them. However, we should rise above our petty practical outlook. In fact, a true patriot in his words and works must reflect the true spirits of patriotism, that is selfless love for his motherland. He should not harbor any hatred for other countries of the world. He should be liberal, have the feeling that he is a part of the larger world family. Next है बच्चे my favorite story. I love to read stories, but the story that has attracted the most is The Last Leaf. The story has been written by O. Henry. The story is about two girls who are artists and live together in a flat. One day, one of them falls sick. From her bed, she can see a vine, the leaves of which are falling rapidly in the winter. She comes to believe that she would die with the falling of the last leaf of the vine. There lives another old painter in the same building. When he comes to know about this, he paints a leaf on the wall which looks as if it is the last leaf. When the last leaf does not fall for a long time, the girls regain faith in her life and recovers from the diseases. But the old painter who painted the leaf dies due to the extreme cold and snow which he faced while drawing the leaf. This was his masterpiece. Characterization is the story is very real. The two friends and the old painters have been depicted in every human terms. The two friends share empathy and the sacrifice of the old painter is supreme. Ever since I have read this story, it keeps ringing in my heart. Next है बच्चे my favorite subject. From my boyhood, I had great attractions of English. My father was a teacher of English. He taught me first how to make a sentence using grammar correctly. He advised me how to build a great vocabulary with the help of dictionary. Now, I have some mastery over grammar and know quite a few words. So, I am becoming more and more interested in this subject. In future, I want to study this subject at higher levels and become a professor in English. I like English for more than one reason. English enjoyed great importance before independence in India. It is still an important language in the country today. At present, English is used as a link language for interstate communication in India. It is an international language in a true sense. It is used as a medium of international communication. Almost all Indian languages have been generally embraced and influenced by English. English is one of the richest and finest languages in the world today. Great poets like Shelley and Shakespeare, writers like Chaucer and Charles Dickens have made English what it is. I want to study these great scholars in future, and it can happen when I have proper mastery over grammar. So I spend a lot of time in studying it and learning to make different types of sentences. Next, students, mobile phone. Mobile phone is a modern and wonderful invention. This instrument is very small in size but performs very big functions. It is in fact an improvised versions of all landline telephone and enables us to talk to anybody in any part of the world. It can be carried anywhere, wherever a person may go. It makes conversation possible whether we are traveling or staying back at home. This phone all receives tremendous response from people all over the world. It is used by all people, whether rich or poor, in order to remain in contact touch with the other people associated to them. Today we can find almost every man, woman and college students making use of mobile phones. Even school-going children and laborers have started using it. Almost all cities of the world are connected with the mobile network. A mobile phone has played a very vital role, especially during an emergency such as accident, robbery, a murder or a sudden serious illness. It has revolutionized the way we communicate. Now, the mobile phones come equipped with a large number of other facilities like SMS, MMS, music player, radio, Bluetooth, camera and GPS system. It also helps in getting an internet connection. However, mobile phone has also added to criminal activities as it is used by criminals. Due to its invention, the use of landline telephone has decreased considerably. Next है बच्चे, a cricket match. A few days ago, I happened to see a very interesting cricket match in our school playground. It was played between the Nimbus Public School and our school. The captain of the Nimbus Public School won the toss and elected to bat. Their openers made a good start, but they faced a middle order batting collapse. However, they scored 180 runs in 40 overs. The game resumed after lunch. Our openers went to bat. They were cheered by our supporters. But Sharwan was out at the very first ball. The second opener was also dismissed when the score was 17. Our team began to collapse by the devastating bowling of their fast bowlers. We scored 59 for 5 wickets in 15 overs. Then our captain entered the ground. He began to attack their bowlers with a great confidence. He scored 24 runs in an over, made a dazzling century in 11 overs. We won the match. It was really a very exciting match. The heart of every spectator in jam-packed ground was throbbing with excitement till the very end of this match. We enjoyed the match very much. Next, students, problems of the child labor. Of late, child labor has become a nuisance for the country. It is no doubt a socio-economic problem. A national survey in the year 2000 showed that 16.4 million children between 8 to 14 years of age are being largely engaged in hotels and boarding houses, in tea shops and restaurants, in commercial firms and factories, in fisheries. They are engaged in all sorts of work for the sake of earning something for the family. As a result, they are also deprived of primary education. Children are employed in agricultural labor. They drive cats and take care of cattle. Girl children have to act as maid servants and babysitters. They cook and clean. They wash clothes and collect fuels. Without education, the chance of success in their life is remote. It is true that a number of laws have been imposed to prevent child labor, but they are more flouted than obeyed. The ban has been imposed to save children from hazardous work and to restore their carefree childhood. However, if a prohibition is imposed without suitable agreements for proper rehabilitation of child worker, it would be no effect. There is the state of India which is free from the evil of child labor. Poverty is not the only factor responsible for children being engaged as labor. They come cheaper and their parents lack employment opportunities. Appropriate social security should be provided to the children and families for ensuring enforcement of the law. The state governments must come forward to remove this curse with adequate financially and vocational help to the poor families. The government must arrange for free education and treatment for the children. The Child Labour Act must be properly enforced. The midday meal scheme is one such scheme by which the menace of child labour can be tackled to some extent. So students, आपने यहाँ पे बहुत सारे पैराग्राफ को रीड आउट किया है इस चैप्टर के अंदर, इस टॉपिक के अंदर, तो इनको पढ़ते हुए रीड आउट करते हुए कुछ अपने आप से भी आपने बनाने की कोशिश करनी है. ओके